Hi, I am Shirley Desai, the host of SPICE, which stands for South Asian and Global Perspectives in Cinema and Entertainment. Today we have a global entertainer who is multifaceted and multi-talented. She is an actress, a model, a singer, a songwriter, a stand-up comedian, and a meditation guide. Her name is her name is Anzu Lawson. She was scouted as a model at age 14 in Tokyo, where she later became a successful J-pop star. She has had numerous acting roles in film and television, released music on the AVEX label, and completed the UCLA screenwriting program in 2010. She began her career at age 7 acting opposite Mako in an indie film. Mako is an Academy Award-winning actor and Broadway performer from Japan. She's had numerous television roles in shows such as Fuller House, Dexter, Grey's Anatomy, The Blacklist, and Law and Order, to just name a few. She signed to the Japanese label AVEX, where she became a teen J-pop star and had a #1 hit on the Japanese billboards. Her vocals can be heard on soundtracks for films like The Chronicles of Narnia, Spy Game, and The Da Vinci Code. She also performs stand-up comedy in venues like the Laugh Factory and Comedy Store. She graduated from the UCLA screenwriting program in 2010 and wrote a coming-of-age story titled The Seed Between the Stones. Her screenplay, The Yoko Ono Story, has received recognition in several screenwriting competitions. So I introduce you to Anzu Lawson.
Hi,
Hello,
Shirley.
welcome.
Hello, everybody listening and watching.
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show, and hopefully I can, you know, uh, share some, positive pearls of wisdom to help other Asian or even anybody, to help with their life because it has been such a journey, as an ethnic minority female in a predominantly patriarchal world, right?
Right. And you have an amazing background and just so talented in so many different
Oh, thank
directions.
you so much.
You started acting at just 7 years old. What do you remember about that time? How did it feel to be a child actress?
My mom just loved American movies and just loved Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson and Marilyn Monroe and just idolized the whole Hollywood glam. And so when she had the opportunity to have a small part in a movie in an indie film being filmed in LA, in a scene with Pat Morita, she grabbed at the opportunity and she dragged me to set with her. And that was one of the first times I'd ever been on a set, and I just remember the electricity, the buzz, and it was a female Asian director, and it was about the Japanese immigrants coming to America, but just being in the makeup area and the costume, just the smell. I just have this distinct memory with all, when you go into the room, the makeup room and the bulb lights and they're just so
Yeah.
big, like, and I'm just like, wow, this feels right. This is where I want to spend this is where I want to be. So it was just an instant, it was exciting to me even at that age. So.
Wow, that's actually quite incredible. You found your passion at such a young age. So many of us wait till our later in life. For example, for me, filmmaking is something that I really started in the last 5 years. And I wish I started much earlier. I wish I started it when I was 7 years old. Then I would be a lot further along.
I've taken a lot of diversion roads, and stopped and started a lot of different careers, but everything always comes back full circle, I believe, and everything you've ever done in life enhances you as a storyteller, as an artist. You get to channel all those life things that you've experienced. So I think the better the what makes you a better artist is just when you've lived life.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So, and I always have to keep remembering it's not how fast I get there, clearly, because I'm still on this. They say it's the journey, not the destination.
Right, right.
I'm like, okay, great saying, but it would be nice to be at the destination more often than being on the journey. Um, but I do see how if I had, let's say, made it sooner on a bigger scale, I think I would have imploded probably because being on this journey longer and it taking longer really made me have to develop my spiritual fortitude and
Great.
grow really thick skin and clearly, if I had gotten everything I wanted when I wanted it, then I think I would have done a Britney Spears, and shown my hoo-ha to paparazzi and then be on like, have handlers. But, thank God they didn't have cameras back then. Or at least
Yeah,
cameras weren't in your phones. So.
yeah, you started modeling at the age of 14. What was that experience like, and did it awaken you to the world, or did it kind of harden you a little bit?
I started modeling actually in LA when I was 12 because I knew a photographer who was doing stock photography and he was selling photos of just taking pictures of me and my sister. And then I got a contract when I was 14 for 3 years to go to Japan to model on summer vacations. I got to see a whole new culture, a whole new world, and I got to see that there's a much bigger world out there than just, you know, our what we see on TV in America. And so it did set me on a trajectory and but at the compromise of not being able to have like a normal school. Like I left school at like 15.
Mm,
And so
I see.
and I got my GED when I was like 20. And so I didn't get to have the normal, you know,
The prom.
I didn't get to have the sweet 16. I didn't get to have any of that because I was busy, but I got to do a lot of other cool things that I've, in as a model, modeling in Japan and all that stuff, making money. But and then that segued into music because I realized early on that sh- every little girl wants to be a model, right? Every little girl, even though I didn't see girls that looked like me on the magazine of Cosmo or anything like that, like I didn't see, it was always just white girls, right? But you dream, but what I did realize is models don't get to speak. Models don't get to
That's
say
true.
anything. Models don't get to have a voice. And I think that's when I realized that I got really bored with modeling and I wanted to really pursue music and writing and taking the poems that I had written and I started turning them into songs with other people. And to hear your voice back recorded for the first time is like, wow, that's magic. That's power, right? So um that was a quick transition for me.
So when did you start singing?
I think it was right around 15.
Around
I
15.
did my first demo in Japan when I was 15 and got to hear my voice back and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. This is really cool." Wow, you just create something you out of thin air, songs, melodies, it's like and you get to play it for other people. It's pretty magical what music is.
Yeah, what does it mean to you personally when you listen to yourself or when you listen to music?
Well, I just started getting I took a long hiatus from music prior to the pandemic because and I came back after I left Japan and my record deal. I came to back to America, my home country, and I was like, I'm gonna sing in English, and I'm gonna, and it was all about get the record deal, get the record deal, get the record deal. But it was a time when the record industry was collapsing into Napster. Things were shifting. People weren't buying records anymore. It was going more digital, electronic, and my heart broke because the record deal didn't actually happen in America like I had dreamed it would. But in hindsight, that's where I went, where the acting was, because there was more opportunities there. But I missed the music. There's a vibration to music that instantly teletransports anybody who ever plays music or sings music or listens to music. You get teletransported immediately, through the frequency and the vibration of, so
Yeah.
I the pandemic was a huge awakening. Like, well, if we're gonna die, why am I not doing what I love, which
What
is
you
music?
doing?
So
Right.
I went and bought a keyboard, a Guitar Center, and I started getting Ableton, like, lessons on Zoom from this kid in Nashville and I brought music back into my life, and I started re-recording songs, even though there's really no platform now for indie artists, especially with the whole thing that's going on with Spotify and them not paying indie artists a penny. So it's a very interesting time. Like, how do you navigate this? You got to know why you're doing it. Are you doing it because you love it, or are you doing it because, like, so for me, I do it because it makes me feel good. I have a message, uh and I love creating things out of thin air, so I just have to find new places to play it or perform it. The music industry has changed dramatically, and now with this whole AI thing, it's like I think it's going to go back to live music and feeling that live energy. Like right now, like Broadway is having a resurgence because people want that live, in the moment. The theater experience is making a comeback right now.
That's good to know, actually, and good to experience.
I
I
think,
agree with you.
yeah.
With music, it just transports you. For me, I often, before I start writing, I put the music on and then I get into a different zone and then it helps me. So I totally get where you're coming from with music. And that's great that you were able to, during COVID, get back really into it. I think that's,
What else
we
are
all,
we gonna do? There's somebody. Yeah, I think the pandemic did have its benefits. We did get to go take a pause and go, what's important to us?
right.
What am I living my life, or am I on a hamster wheel? So, you know,
That's so true. A
yes.
little bit about your acting. You've built a really impressive resume with roles in Law and Order, Manifest, Blacklist, The Young and the Restless, NCIS, and more. How did you land these opportunities, and what excites you the most?
Oh, when I first started acting, and I'm sure you can relate to this, there was not a lot of ethnic roles on TV.
Right.
So, uh, I've, started out doing being a concubine, or being the virgin goddaughter of the Japanese mafia, but those parts were few and far between. So for me, I never felt Asian enough, and I never felt white enough. So I kind of navigated through the ethnic ambiguity, and I've played Filipino, I've played Latin, I've played Hawaiian, I've played Chinese. Like, I was able to kind of like really
You're
be
global.
a chameleon, to mold myself. I had that advantage. So it's always trying to think, outside the box. And even to this day, like, how can I be of how c conquering that I want I'm not enough, right? I'm not this enough, or I'm not that, I'm not white enough here or whatever, but learning that I am right for the right roles, right? And I think it's important to create roles for yourself.
Right,
Like,
right. And that kind of segues me to the next question I have. Your production company, Happy Hoppa Films, tackles these edgy topics and challenge stereotypes. Now, you started that, so that was a way for you to actually have an influence in the marketplace. What are some of
I
the Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what are some of the common stereotypes about Asians that bother you? And what do you hope to change through your work?
We're not all subservient. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kind of bossy. You know, no, I think there's a lot of Asian stories that need to be excavated, and there's actually some great programs right now through Cape and Janet Yang Productions, and there's a lot more desire to have Asian narratives. And I think as storytellers, we've always, through centuries, for as long as cavemen have been writing pictures on the walls, we've been wanting to tell our stories, right, and pass them down. And I think it's important that we tell all these different stories so that we can find our commonalities. Like, it doesn't matter, like, I've played a lot of tiger moms, uh, in my day. Or the, uh, traditional Asian mom with the funny accent,
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but it doesn't matter. People can resonate with it because it doesn't matter if you're a Jewish mom or a Japanese mom. You have the same desires for your children. And I think seeing that in, stories like, um, uh, I'm going off on a tangent, but I feel like it's important we still have so many more stories to excavate and tell, and to show our commonalities as people, right?
Yeah, I feel like shows, there's one in the South Asian, Never Have I Ever,
Mm,
that does a really good job of getting people exposed to the different culture, the Indian culture.
yeah.
But what it does is it puts you on a level playing field and you say, hey, I'm really normal. This is really normal. I'm just like you. I just may have different food and different cultural things, but I'm all the same. And I think that's the real beauty of what you're doing also with all of your work.
We all want to fit in. We all have teen crushes. We all have, we all, we all have a domineering moms, and dysfunctional. Every family I know is dysfunctional in some way or another, right?
Right, right, right.
So I think that's why it resonated with so much. We could laugh at ourselves and see ourselves in other characters. Like, for me, what did it was Rami. I don't know if you remember Rami on Hulu, if you ever saw the show. It was about a Muslim family and a kid who's like trying to be an American kid right after 9/11.
Oh.
And it's a really funny show, but it really touches on a lot of important topics. But uh it really opened my eyes because I never got to see that. I've never experienced that kind of culture before, but I understood the family dynamics. You've got the mom, you got the dad, you got the crazy sister, you got the guy who's trying to find love as an ethnic minority in America. So um we all can, that's the beauty of multicultural
Storytelling,
storytelling. Yeah, we
multicultural
need to
storytelling.
see ourselves up on there, because I think when Asian people were not able to see themselves in magazines or in TV or in film or whatever, I think it sends a subliminal message that we don't belong, or we're not supposed to be
Yes.
here, or we're less than. And I think that's why we really have to advocate and really tell stories such as, that you're doing and stuff. Yeah.
Terrific. A slightly different question. You've also voiced characters in video games. How does that creative process compare to acting in film or television or modeling?
Oh, well, there is, there's, I mean, ever since Crazy Rich Asians, there's been more of a demand for, Asian people to speak British accents, to like, be, to have that posh sound. So, and I do a lot of dubbing for Korean dramas and Japanese dramas for Netflix and Hulu and Disney and Amazon, and that's been kind of my bread and butter since the pandemic. And I'm grateful for that. And but there's more opportunities now, I feel, that than there has ever been for ethnic minorities, and because they want to stay true to what the character is on the screen, right?
Right, right.
So, and now with K-pop Demon Hunters, everyone's gonna make another one,
Yeah, there's gonna be at least one sequel, if not 2 or 3.
Million.
So,
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I really do. I really do. I think it's healthy. I think it's great. I think it's so cute to see all these little blonde girls going gaga over these K-pop bands, and I'm like, wow, I never thought in a million years.
yeah, who would have thought? It kind of came out of nowhere from my perspective. It just became such a big thing, so
Yeah, but it was like 10 years in the making. And the crazy thing is in for any project, it's at least 10 years, right? You have to have so many people say yes. And so, and it's also the timing of when it comes, right? If it's too soon or if it's too late, like there's so many variables. But with all the movies that are like hit movies coming out of India and like transcending language barriers and transcending um I think we're way more open now, and it's not so much of a language barrier like it used to be.
right. I think people are okay with subtitles too, so that opens up the global cinema environment.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, yeah, Americans are not so scared of subtitles anymore. I know. Yeah, so
So you're a comedian also. So how did you what drew you into comedy and what did it feel like to be on stage, making people laugh and connecting with people?
I was always fascinated with Margaret Cho, and I really resonated watching her talk about her mom, because I was like, "Oh, we have the same mom." And then I would go to the Comedy Store and I'd see Bobby Lee. And then I befriended, Brad Garrett, and he was the youngest stand-up comedian to be on the Johnny Carson show. He was 18 when he won Star Search.
I didn't know that.
And I was like, "Brad, I think I want to do stand-up comedy." He's like, "Really? Anzu? Really? Really?" But it's not for the faint of heart, for sure. And it's actually harder now to be a stand-up comic because of everyone taking themselves so seriously and everyone being politically correct. And now there's like, just because I'm Asian, it's offensive if I do a Latin joke. It's a very difficult time to be a comic unless you're Dave Chappelle, and then you can basically talk about anything you want and just say, you know, take it or leave it, you know.
Yeah.
But so for me, it's, I've been writing new material, and um it's it's uh it's hard because there's things I want to say, but then I think in the back of my mind, like, am I gonna get canceled? Is that gonna, is that gonna, am I gonna get backlash for that? So yeah, it's a very interesting time, but I think as we need comedy and laughter more than ever, and we just have to stop being so serious and stop being taken offense, because I think what comedy shines a light on is that we all we all get our heart broken. We all feel less than. We all feel like we're not, it's it really holds up a mirror to how we're all the same, because we're all going through the same pains.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, a fun topic, spirituality, meditation, and balance. You created some meditation and affirmations. How did that journey begin, and can you tell us about that?
I am a spiritual self-help junkie, and I've done every modality you can probably imagine to try to crack the code for manifestation and healing and all that. um so I was looking on YouTube, and I did not see a lot of meditations for actors. And we go through a lot of mental stuff as artists, because course, you got to put yourself out there. Then you got to, you know, there's a lot. I've talked a lot of actors and musicians off the ledge, and I've had many people talk me off the ledge too. So I created meditations I wanted to hear, right? I have a meditation on YouTube where all it says is congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Sometimes you just want to hear you're like, yeah, congrats, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm jamming to congratulations, yeah, anything to make you feel good. So, and I wanted to
Yeah.
share that, and I put that on YouTube. I mean, I don't know how long I'll keep them on there, but I I was like, you know what? This makes me feel good. I want to help other actors. I do help other actors because I wish I had the kind of mentor back then I probably could have saved myself time, right? And heartache, because, there's been a lot of dark nights of the soul being in this industry, and having it change, and all the rejection after rejection after rejection. You have to really balance and feed your soul. So, yeah, meditation has saved my life.
And have any people commented on your affirmations, and have you seen any results from that?
I always like it when it's somebody I don't know that says, "Oh, I'm using this every day." That makes me happy because, my friends saying, "I love it." It's like, great, but when somebody I
Yeah.
don't know is on there, or I'll get like 300 new subscribers or whatever, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I just want to pay it forward because we're only here in this lifetime for a limited amount of time, and nobody promises us tomorrow. So I read that success is leaving the world a better place than from when you came in. And if you can, and like you're being of service to helping other people, if you could pay it forward, then you did good. And even if you look at a stranger and you give your smile, like that, you don't know what a powerful effect that can have on that person's day, or how that changes the trajectory of things, And so I
Those,
smile at everybody, even when they don't, a lot of people don't know how to receive that, you know,
right, right.
and they're like, but I'm here to shine my light in this world, you know, and I'm here to walk into a room with love And I think that's instead of walking into a room and going, "How can I get love?" It's how do I walk into a room and how do I be the light, be the love? And and if I can change the frequency of that room or exchange, that's success. That really it's really because
You're shifting the energy in the room.
yeah,
That's very
and
insightful.
everything
Yeah.
is energy. Really, everything is
Yeah.
energy. And because we don't get to take anything else with us when we go to the other side. We don't get to take our money, our houses, our friends, our clothes, our IMDb credits, none of it. All we get to take is the love that we share with people and the love that we have in our life experiences, right? So, I wish these 26 millionaires that are controlling the state of this government shutdown would, have that awakening, but we'll see.
We'll see. So, some fun stuff. Out of across all these years and roles, what's one funny, surprising, or unforgettable story from a set of your stage performances or film performances, TV?
Unforgettable or funny or
Any of them, funny or surprising or unforgettable?
I learn from every experience and I learn from um everything. Like I remember I was working at a bar and Christian Slater walked in and I was just like, I'm going to do a movie with him one day. I just decided. I said I am going to do a movie with him one day. And cut to 2016 or whatever it is. I'm holding Christian's hand and I'm playing his neighbor. And I'm like, oh my God, it happened. I'm doing a movie with Christian Slater. Oh my God, this is amazing. And he was such a generous actor. And I mean, it was a very interesting role for him. He had to he was trying to find how to play this character as like a nerd or like as something that's a little out of his wheelhouse, right? So he says, I'm just going to pretend I'm cold. So he just the whole time was just cold, and it transformed his character, and I've stolen that technique several times for other roles I've done. So um little tidbits like that, or um I the one of the times when I decided I think I was 12 and I saw Scarface, and I saw Al Pacino in Scarface, and I was like, I want to do what he's doing. I want to do that. I want to do that. And then being able to be on stage with Al Pacino, having that surreal moment, just looking over, and I was like, wow, is this really happening? Like somebody pinch me. Like somebody, this is really cool when things like that happen. So,
Oh, that's
um,
great.
yeah.
Those are
So
great
hopefully,
experiences.
there'll be many more, but yeah.
Yeah, there will be many more. Final question for you. What's something about you that might surprise your fans?
I can feel when there's an energy in the room. I could basically, in the sixth sense, where like I see dead people, I could feel dead people.
Okay. You can feel the energy.
I feel them, and they know I can feel them. And so if they have an urgent thing that they want to say, they kind of lean on me. I could feel, I was like, oh, there's somebody who wants to say something that's, on the other
Oh,
side. So yeah,
well,
and that comes from probably meditating a lot. So
right, right, right. I think once you start meditating, a lot of things start to open up and a lot of energy starts to come to you.
you become available, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you become available.
Mhm. Mhm.
Definitely. Well, terrific. I that covers all the questions I had today. There's a lot more to discuss. We can go into much more detail on all of these topics, but I really thank you for coming on, and I wish you the best of luck with all of your
And to
work that you're
you,
trying.
Shirley, this is a great feat that you're doing, and such a beautiful podcast. And I wish you all the success in this, and let me know how I can be of service to help you, get more exposure with this. And thank you for all your coordinating, and your questions are so thoughtful and beautiful. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm so glad Aaron put us together.
Yes. So we will stay tuned for the future. Maybe you can come back again sometime.
Maybe I can interview you.
That would be really good.
I'd love to.
I'd
Thank
like
you
that.
so
I'd
much.
love that actually. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.